Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Living in the City 2021. I'm Christina Pei, Housing Up's Vice President of Philanthropy and Communications. I know we've all been living the Zoom life for quite a while now, so thank you so much for choosing to spend some virtual time with us this evening. Housing Up builds thriving communities for formerly homeless and low-income families here in DC. What started as a tiny nonprofit organization that served 13 families in 1990 has evolved into one of the district's largest providers of services and affordable housing, serving more than 900 families. Our decades-long history of housing families and transforming lives is due to the perseverance of our families and the generous support of our donors. Tonight, you'll hear from Housing Up's leadership, both past and present, the staff and community partners that make our work possible, and most importantly, you'll get a glimpse into the lives of some of the families we serve. So a quick note on logistics: if you have any questions or technical issues during the broadcast tonight, please reach out to our team member Sarah at sarahjalil@housingup.org or via text at 847-714-6274. She's standing by ready to answer any questions you may have. And whether you're a longtime supporter of Housing Up or new to our family, and I know that we do have a lot of new supporters watching tonight, so hello, I hope you'll get a clear picture of why our mission means so much to us, the families in our programs, and our city as a whole. So, until we can all safely gather in person, let's make the most of our time together this evening. Grab some snacks and a beverage, and have your smartphone handy to participate in our auction later tonight. To kick things off, I'd like to introduce our President and CEO, Phil Hecht.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us at this year's Living in the City. When we hosted our first version of this event years ago in 2005, we decided to call it Living in the City, both to celebrate the families that call Washington, D.C. home, and to underscore the challenges that many face in building a stable, safe life here. Our nation's capital is a wonderful place to live, provided that you have equitable access to affordable housing. At the time of our first Living in the City celebration, Housing Up owned 27 units of affordable housing in Ward 4. Our decision in 2005 to develop affordable housing and actively address a root cause of family homelessness, the lack of affordable housing, was a turning point for Housing Up and a milestone that I am proud of. For more than 15 years, we have been committed to building safe, vibrant communities by providing mixed-income, affordable housing with resident services. We currently own and operate 372 units of affordable housing throughout the district, with an additional 423 units and counting in our pipeline. I'm talking to you now from Abrams Hall at the former Walter Reed Army Medical Center, which is now renamed the Parks at Walter Reed. This is our home to our headquarters and our most recently completed affordable housing development, Abrams Hall Senior Apartments. The building provides affordable housing to 80 seniors, right in the middle of the 66-acre development of the Walter Reed campus. I'm happy to tell you that Affordable Housing Finance News recently announced its 2021 Reader's Choice Award winners and recognized Abrams Hall seniors as the best overall in senior housing across the country. This campus is also home to our newest project, Walter Reed Assisted Living, which the Committee of 100 of the Federal City just selected for its 2021 Vision Award. This is the first district-funded project that combines permanent housing and assisted living for seniors in one facility. We're proud to provide a scalable model for future assisted living facilities for our city's most vulnerable seniors. Whether we're developing affordable housing here in Northwest or across the river in Southeast, our mission is to make sure all DC residents have a safe place to call home, and we cannot do that without your support. You've helped us evolve into one of the city's largest nonprofit affordable housing developers, and for that, we are grateful. Now, I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening with us, and let's continue our work together of housing families and transforming lives.
Thanks, Phil. As Phil mentioned, in 2005, Housing Up realized that it's not enough to simply provide services to formerly homeless families. We also had to commit to increasing the amount of affordable housing available in the city. At that time, Housing Up, then known as Transitional Housing Corporation, was helmed by Polly Donaldson. Polly just recently retired from a long tenure as a director at the DC Department of Housing and Community Development, the engine that makes affordable housing a possibility here in the district. We chatted with Polly a couple of weeks ago to hear about DC's historic investments in affordable housing, why housing is so essential, and how we can all do our parts to make sure every DC resident has a chance to thrive.
Good evening, everyone. Delighted to be here at Living in the City 2021. I'm Polly Donaldson. I'm director of the DC Department of Housing and Community Development. And of course, many of you know, a former executive director of Transitional Housing Corporation, now known, of course, as Housing Up. So it's great to be here. I also want to make a note that this is probably one of my last public appearances as director of the department, as I am stepping down at the end of September, and will be retiring, actually. So it's very appropriate. I think that it's one of my last messages is with Housing Up. Tonight, I want to talk about affordable housing and how we can end homelessness in the district, in part through our efforts to build more affordable housing across the district. We know we have an affordable housing crisis. We know we've made great strides in the past several years, but we have much more to do. If you look at the maps in the district of what affordable housing outcomes or where affordable housing is in the district, and you layer it on top with what health outcomes are, economic outcomes, employment, educational outcomes, the maps are the same, because where you live matters so much for all that you're going to be able to accomplish in your life. And it is really the starting point for so many other opportunities that we need to ensure that, as Mayor Bowser says, that everyone has a fair shot, that everyone has a chance to strive and to achieve, and that's really where housing is just fundamental to that as well. Since 2015, when Mayor Bowser first took office and I first became director of the Department of Housing and Community Development, we have produced over 14,250 units of affordable housing across the district. And we have in production now under construction another 12,300 units. That's an incredible amount of investment. It's in part because of the commitment of advocates and of the development community to the resources and to advocating for those resources. Mayor Bowser, upon taking office, made the commitment of funding our principal vehicle for building affordable housing, the Housing Production Trust Fund, at a minimum level of $100 million each year. And she has kept that promise, such that over the past 7 years, we've invested over $600 million in the Housing Production Trust Fund. And we had a very, in part because of some of the additional federal assistance, we had a phenomenal budget year where we were able to supplement the FY21 budget, and we were able to add to the FY22 budget a total of $400 million for the Housing Production Trust Fund. What that means is that since 2015, Mayor Bowser's budgets and the council's approval of those budgets has led to over $1 billion being invested in affordable housing in the district. For those of you watching tonight or attending the Living in the City event, I can tell you that advocacy has had a huge impact on what we've been able to do in the district with affordable housing. And we need to continue those efforts. I was present at the creation of the original Transitional Housing Corporation in 1990, and really are so proud. I'm so proud of its 31-year history, and that I was able to contribute as executive director. And I know that the work of Housing Up will continue, and I'm personally very gratified that I've been able to contribute.
Our thanks to Polly for taking the time to reflect on the strides DC has made and how we can all help make our city more livable for all residents. We typically end Living in the City with a live auction to support our services and programs, but this year, we're not saving the best for last. You'll have the opportunity to donate to key programs and services throughout the evening. Each auction level will be introduced by one of Housing Up's employees. Since we can't be together in person, we wanted to make sure you got to see some of the faces that serve our clients and that do the hard work. You're also welcome to donate at any point during the evening by using the QR code at the bottom of your screen. Simply focus on the code using your smartphone camera, as if you're taking a photo, and you'll be directed to a secure donation page. Your donations will raise much-needed funds for our families, covering everything from food and household essentials to educational resources for kids returning to the classroom. Now, let's dive into our first auction item of the evening, helping a family with their household bills for 2 months. As Polly mentioned, $1 billion invested in affordable housing since 2015 is a tremendous achievement that translates into hundreds, thousands of families signing new leases and moving into homes that they can now call their own. Those families also face a number of household bills that can be overwhelming. To tell us more, I'd like to introduce my right hand, Sarah Jalil, Housing Up's Philanthropy and Communications Associate.
Hi, welcome to Living in the City. My name is Sarah Jalil, and I'm the Communications and Philanthropy Associate with Housing Up. For this year's auction, we're going to start with one of the most important items of the evening. For $500, you can help a family manage their household bills and supply them with essential items like groceries for 2 months. Since COVID-19 hit our community almost 2 years ago, more than half of our families have lost their jobs. Think about if you were just to get back on your feet, settling into a safe home after overcoming an episode of homelessness when another traumatic event strikes. Tonight, you can help ensure that these families continue living the lives they deserve. I hope we can count on you to make this vision a reality for our families. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. And a quick reminder to anyone, if you're having any technical issues using the QR code to make your donations, please give Sarah a call or an email. And you can also make your donation by visiting www.housingup.org/LITC/auction. I want to take a moment to say a special thanks to all of our sponsors this evening. Your generous contributions help us provide the combination of housing and services that can really make a difference in the lives of DC families. Housing Up has relied on community partners to support the families we serve since our early days. Since then, we have built a powerful, constantly growing coalition of partners that are with our families during every point of their journey, from moving into a new home, to finding new jobs, to navigating particularly challenging and tumultuous times. And I think we can all agree that challenging and tumultuous are 2 words that sum up the experience of the past year and a half for most of us, but particularly for the families we serve. Most of the families in our programs are Black and brown, with a significant percentage of first-generation American citizens and also undocumented families at our affordable housing communities. As we all know, COVID-19 has had a disproportionate impact on these demographics, increasing existing inequalities and leaving the most vulnerable suffering the greatest consequences. In this time of crisis for so many Housing Up families, St. Columba's Episcopal Church stepped in to make sure families not only survived the past year, but were also able to keep striving towards their goals. St. Columba's is a long-standing supporter of Housing Up, with members of the congregation serving on our board of directors since our inception in 1990. In 2019, St. Columba's launched a comprehensive initiative to end family homelessness and formalize its partnership with Housing Up, resulting in a stronger relationship with families living at 2 of our affordable housing buildings, Fort View Apartments and Webster Gardens. From rental assistance and virtual tutoring to household essentials and utility bills, the St. Columba's congregation provided invaluable assistance to hundreds of vulnerable families. We are honored to celebrate St. Columba's as our 2021 community leader.
Oh, they're so long.
Hey girls, how are you? I want to thank all the kids and tutors for coming out.
Today and every Zoom tutoring session, you guys developed good relationships. We got things done. I'm really proud of all you guys. Put in the work.
Tutors and students haven't seen each other in person for 8 months, and we thought that it's only right that we should get together, have some food, kick off what was a very challenging time for all of us, but we made it together as a team.
Go!
Hands together!
Our mission at St. Columba's is to support our neighbors, to help where we can, but also to learn and to grow with the community.
We identified ending family homelessness by 2030 as one of our goals that we're working toward.
St. Columba came to me looking to support residents that were economically affected by the pandemic. We originally set the goal for 30 families in 30 days to support them with around $1,000. St. Columba almost doubled that and helped keep at least 25 residents in their homes.
The second initiative we did was the tutoring program, where many of our youth and some of our other more mature parishioners were able to get together with children to do one-on-one tutoring. And we have a total of around 585 hours of one-on-one relationship building with kids.
Spent a lot of time at the beginning getting to know each other, and after that we were able to just hop on the Zoom and do whatever work we wanted, get it all done, and then just have fun.
I got like straight A's because Andrew helped me, and I'm very grateful for that.
During COVID, people felt isolated from others. It was so nice to have a connection.
296.
Yeah, you got it. He says dance time. Let's go.
It was always a very fulfilling experience.
We know the power of housing. We know the effect that this work can have, but we can't do this without partnership. And all of that takes a lot of coordination, but it takes funding.
Community partners help fill in the gaps. They can provide that additional support.
Improving the community means working with the community shoulder to shoulder, and we get to do that with Housing Up. It's truly a symbiotic partnership.
St. Columba's virtual tutoring support has been so important to help the kids in our program maintain a sense of connection. Connecting with others is an important element of mental health and one that we've all seen challenged since last year. But most of us are able to easily create that connection, whether via Zoom or FaceTime, and talk about our mental health challenges with professional therapists. That's not as easily attainable for many of the families in our programs due to systemic barriers communities of color face accessing healthcare. Our next auction item helps address those barriers and provides mental health services to the families we serve. To introduce this auction item, I'd like to introduce Sonia Gahimbare, Housing Up's Permanent Supportive Housing Clinical Manager.
Hi everyone, we're so happy you've joined us tonight for our most important fundraiser of the year. I'm Sonia Gahimbare and I'm the Permanent Supportive Housing Clinical Manager at Housing Up. Families in our programs experience homelessness for a variety of reasons, which include mental health struggles, substance use, physical disabilities, or domestic violence, just to name a few. The heightened trauma around racial injustice and the COVID-19 pandemic disproportionately affecting Black and Brown families are more reasons why mental health care is essential. However, the cost of mental health support is often a barrier to our families receiving this care. For $250, you can help families get the mental health care they need for long-term success and independence. We are so grateful for all you do to make a direct impact.
Thank you, Sonia. To say this past year has been difficult for many families would be an understatement. Between health concerns raised by COVID-19, more than 50% of our families facing unemployment at some point over the past year and a half, and the difficulties of virtual learning when not all families have ready access to the internet, families have struggled. Yet, when brainstorming ideas for this year's Living in the City, one word that our team kept mentioning was joy. When talking to our program staff and case managers, of course, we heard stories of struggle, but we also heard so many stories of triumphs, small and large, in the face of struggle. It's true that the pandemic is not over, and it's very true that the ripple effects of the pandemic will continue to reverberate through our communities for years to come. But despite the challenges, so many of our families have been able to continue thriving, and we wanted to find the space and time to recognize their amazing achievements and lift up their successes. If recent times have shown us anything, I hope it's to embrace joy when possible. So with that in mind, I'd like to introduce you to a few members of our Fort View affordable housing community, Ms. Carlita Walker and the Diata family.
2007, I lost my companion, and he was pretty much the breadwinner of the family. I had an income, but it just wasn't enough, and I came across Harriet Tubman Shelter. I made that call. Truly didn't want to make that call, but I had to. Living in a shelter, you had to pretty much watch your surroundings. In there, I had to sleep with my pocketbook and my pillow. I couldn't come and go as I please. I had to share showers, share space. It was hard. And then Mr. Williams came to N Street and was doing interviews for candidates for Fort View Apartments. And they chose me as one of the candidates. I signed the lease. He gave me my keys and told me, "Ms. Walker, welcome to Fort View." And I just stood there for a moment to really take it all in. You know how they say home sweet home? That's a peace of mind for me. I can stick my key in the door and I don't have to worry about anything.
Hey, Ms. Walker. I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine.
Come in. Come in.
Being with Mr. Off, our resident coordinator, if he calls me and tell me, that he needs me to do something, of course I offer my help.
Ms. Walker is a cheerleader. She always is supportive of every event that we have. She helps organize Christmas parties, cookouts, holiday parties, tenant meetings. People on the property know her as an advocate. She testified in front of DC City Council. Good morning. Thank you, Councilmember Bowser. So this is when she was a council member, for organizing this hearing and inviting members from the community to testify.
I go out and I speak, at different organizations. I tell them my story.
I'm here to ask you, Councilmember Bowser, to please commit $5 million to the local rent supplement program to create more affordable housing so more people can have all the great benefits that I receive. Thank you. How do you feel?
I feel grateful. Believe me, thankful.
Yeah.
I do, that you always here for me. If it wasn't from you, I don't know where I would be. Affordable housing, it lets me afford my bills, all of them. And it makes me feel that I can, go to sleep at night and don't have to worry about someone knocking on my door and telling me, that you have an eviction notice, you have to leave. And I feel really good about that.
Housing is a right. I truly believe that, and I think that these families, whether they're here at Fort View or they transition to their own house, their own home, it makes the world, for them to be able to have the autonomy and agency to do the things that I think many people take for granted.
In Senegal, life is difficult. It's not easy because of the corruption. Food, it's not easy to get food. So that's why we choose to come to America for a better life.
When we first got here, it was a culture shock. It was very different than what I was used to. Like, I did not speak English. I had to learn.
We was living in 14th Street, like one bedroom. We was having 2 beds, our bed and the kids' bed. It wasn't easy. And one of my friends, she told me, "Oh, you guys are looking for 2 bedroom." Then we moved to Fort View.
Mary Noel and her young girls were some of the first participants in our programs. One of their goals was education.
Since we moved to Fairview, every evening at 6 o'clock, the kids will go to the community. They have the tutors who help them.
The tutoring program helped me with my homework. If I needed to write a specific essay, they would proofread, make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do to kind of help me succeed in school.
When we try to help the student with our tutoring program, I've communicated with teachers. Isabel needed help with her college essays, someone to kind of bounce ideas off of and figure out, hey, I don't know this about college, particularly for someone who's a first-generation American, much less a first-generation college student.
Especially since my parents didn't really know everything about the school system, applying for FAFSA, financial aid, just the whole process. Fort View and Income were there to kind of just help me through it.
Isabel, she just finished college. Mr. Income, he's the one who make the journey come true today. My husband don't have good income. I don't have a good income. So I said, how I'm gonna get the house? I have to ask Mr. Income.
Ms. Atafa and Ms. Mary Noel talked about wanting to purchase a home, and I said, well, it's a process. You have to work on your credit. I also provided them a referral for housing counseling, and so they were able to talk about what the steps are involved in purchasing a home.
I was excited, but also a little bit reluctant because I really liked Fort View, but they said a house, and I'm pretty sure this is something that my mom has always wanted for us.
To be able to have the freedom for their kids to run around and to play and do things that kids do, those are things that are extremely important, and you can't put a price on, I think.
I feel so happy. I am very happy to have my own house.
Fort View Housing Up definitely changed our lives. I think it was just that extra little support that we needed to really feel like this is our home too.
Youth services, like the programming that helped Isabel apply to college and continue her education, are so important in Housing Up. As a family-oriented agency, we know that serving the whole family is key, and providing resources and opportunities to the kids and young adults in our programs can make a world of difference to the next generation of DC residents. For our next auction item, you can help support youth services and make a tangible impact on young adults just like Isabel and her sisters. Let's hear more about resident services from Donald Hampton, our Deputy Director of Housing Up's Youth Transitional Housing Program.
Good evening, and thanks to everyone for joining tonight. I'm Donald Hampton, Deputy Director of Youth Transitional Housing at Housing Up. And thanks to everyone who has donated so far this evening. I work with 30 youths, all between 18 and 24, in our Youth Transitional Housing Program. Resident services are so important to help them and all the families we serve to grow and reach their full potential. We provide everything from youth mentoring with our high school units to monthly women's groups that focus on health and community building. So for $150, you can help us to continue these supported services, because we're paired with the housing and the quality housing that we provide. We know that the services will make a real difference in the families' lives. Thank you.
Thanks, Donald. So some of our supporters received surprise boxes with this very charming, tiny little origami house and instructions on how to build it. We've been putting our houses together over here today, as you can see, with varying results. Because at our core, that's what Housing Up is about: a house, a home, a place you can call your own. We asked our Housing Up community what home meant to them, from safety to a place to raise children to a respite from the outside world. They clearly illustrated why providing a home for all DC families is so important to us. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
When I think about home means to me.
Home to me is
When I think of
home at its core.
home means to me is
Home is
home.
bed to lay on, a place to raise children, a place to build a family. Home to me is a centerpiece of community, supported by community and supporting community.
What sticks out to me is not the individual buildings, but the spirit of having a home.
Having a stable foundation, being in a stable environment.
A place where one feels secure.
A place where I can spend time with my family, have a good laugh, enjoy ourselves, or just a place I can relax when I'm having a hard day.
Where I'm happy, where I can be myself most.
A place that you can always return to, and when you get there, you can just let your guard down and just sort of be yourself.
It's a safe haven, so you can go there and escape whatever it is that's going on outside in the world.
Home is safety and it's security and it's life itself.
Something that's sacred and something that everybody needs and deserves to have.
Where I can go and relax and just get away from the world of the day. That's my home.
What home means to me is having a safe place for my daughter to sleep at night.
Thank you. As you saw in that video, and with our St. Columba support, volunteers drive so many of our resident services, especially our youth tutoring program. Distance learning posed new challenges for the children we served, but our volunteers helped them navigate through, providing not only tablets and digital resources, but dedicated weekly time and care to review lessons and homework. Here to introduce our very last auction item of the night is Octavia Allen Whitfield, a senior at Howard University and one of our most dedicated virtual tutors. She and her little charge, 6-year-old August, built a virtual bond that went beyond just arithmetic and grammar. Let's hear more from Octavia on why providing children with school supplies can make such a difference.
Hi everyone, I'm Octavia Allen Whitfield, a senior at Howard University and a Housing Up tutor. For our last item of the night, we want to focus on the amazing youth in Housing Up's programs. While the learning environment for DC students continues to change, we do know that these students deserve to have the resources they need to thrive. Whether it's the new technology needed for virtual learning or standard backpacks and school supplies, you can make sure the families we serve aren't worried about their child's preparedness for school. Let's see how many $50 bids we can raise until the end of our evening together. Thanks for helping make tonight one of our most successful Living in the City events yet.
Thank you all for tuning in this evening and supporting our mission. Let's quickly recap our auction items. Remember, 100% of your donations support these programs and services. For $500, you can cover household bills for a family for 2 months. For $250, you can help a family access mental health care resources. For $150, you can support our youth programming and provide opportunities to the next generation. And for $50, you can provide a backpack full of school supplies for students as they return to the classroom in what is already an unpredictable school year. So in this past 30 minutes alone, we've already raised close to $6,000 through the auction. So let's see how much more we can raise before we hit the clock on midnight tonight. You can use the QR code at the bottom of your screen to make your donation. And the auction will also be live up on our website at www.housingup.org/LITC for the remainder of the evening. On behalf of our staff, board, associate board, volunteers, and the families we serve, we so appreciate your support. You can make a difference in affordable housing policy and help our city's most vulnerable residents by getting involved in your communities. Show up to council meetings, share your thoughts on social media, and keep supporting the missions of organizations that are doing the hard work. I hope you enjoyed your time with us tonight, and we'll see you next year at Living in the City.